Hello, let me show you how to use a stovetop safely. Look at this section of the stovetop. As you can see, there are 4 different burners and 2 of them are the same size. This one's slightly bigger and this is the largest one. So the reason they are different sizes is so that you can match them to the right size pan. That way you're not wasting the heat, as well as it's safe for you to work. So what I mean is, if you look at this saucepan and choose the right size burner for this, I would put it here. And for a bigger size, I would choose this one, because this I can see is bigger. So match the burner to the pan, the size of the pan. Few other things I want you to be careful about is make sure that you do not bring any paper or paper plates close to the stove. So it should never be like this. Keep this away. The recipes, keep them away. Okay? When you're ready to use it, decide first which burner you want to use, and then look at this panel. There are 4 knobs and they are labeled so that you can recognize which one to turn on. So if you look at this, you can see the red marking out here and it says rear, which means if I need to turn this on, this is the knob that I need to turn. If I want to turn the front one on, the front one is in red and I have to turn this on then. As you can see, there are numbers starting from the word low here and going on up to the word high. You can select the heat that you want to use. For most foods, I recommend that you use medium heat unless you've been asked to do something at high heat. For example, if you're boiling pasta water, you may need to turn the stove on to high heat. Otherwise, you get best results if you work on medium heat to low heat. To turn on the knob, here's what I want you to remember. Remember to push in first, then turn the knob slowly and bring it where you want it to be. As soon as you start turning this on, you will see that the burner light here comes on. Are you able to see that this is a red light that comes on when you turn the knob on? So here, right now, I want this food to cook on medium heat in this pan. So I'm going to put it somewhere between 4 and 5. This is medium. If I want it to go on high heat, I would turn it this way and bring it here. Low heat, turn it the other way. When you want to turn it off, bring it to this off sign. Once again, remember to push in, then turn the knob. If you are going to try to just push the knob like this, you may end up breaking it because it will not move. Okay, so remember to push it in. As the stove top starts heating up, there's another light you will see come on, and that is this hot cooktop light. What it's trying to tell you is that this surface over here, the stove top surface, is hot right now. And until this light goes away, you should not try to touch this surface. So even though all knobs are off right now, the cooktop light is still on. What that indicates is that the surface is still hot and it's not ready to be cleaned. Let me show you how to use the panel of the oven that you see here. So you can see there are many buttons here and they all have a different job. The easiest one to understand is this is the clock and the time is already set over here, so you don't really need to use this one. Most often you're going to see that we would use the bake button over here, and this is used to make most of your baked products. And the first thing when you're ready to bake something is that you have to preheat the oven to the right temperature. And for that, you have to press bake. Now, the default setting from the factory is that it would show 350 degrees because a lot of baked goods are baked at this temperature. However, your recipe may require you to set a different temperature. And in that case, you may need to use these two buttons. Here's a plus sign and a minus sign. So you know what to do with this one. If you want to increase the temperature, you press the plus sign and bring it to the temperature you want. Say you want it to be at 400. You keep pressing the plus sign till you see the number 400 come here, and then you press start. Now you see the word pre, and the word pre means that your oven is preheating and working to get at that temperature. And when it does get to that temperature, it's going to beep and tell you, I'm ready for you to put the food in. So at this time, you should be doing your prep work. So the first thing to do when you have a baking recipe is to turn on the oven, get your things ready, and then check if the oven is at the right temperature, and then put your food in. Another button that you see out here is broil, and we would rarely use this in the class here. It's only heats up the top element at a very high temperature. Foods tend to burn very quickly when you're trying to broil them. Therefore, you have to be very careful when you use this. We will probably not use this in class. Another button here is self-clean, and you don't have to use that in class here. This is something we do over the summer. We clean our ovens using this. You may want to use the oven light to see how your food is coming out. You want to take a peek in, just turn the oven light on, and that turns the light on inside the oven, and so you can see if your food is getting brown or getting ready. Two buttons that you would be using often, one is called kitchen timer and the other one is called cooking time. What is the difference? Well, kitchen timer is just a timer. I use kitchen timer often when I'm cooking something on the stove and I'm walking away. Then I set a timer for myself to remind me to turn the stove off. It does not have anything to do with the oven. It's just a basic timer. If you want to use it, yes, you can go ahead, press this button. Use the plus sign to set the timer. So right now I'm going to use the plus sign and set it for 2 minutes. Actually, I want to set it just for 1 minute. And I'm going to press this again, or I can press start. So I'm going to press start, and you can see it's counting down because it was just set for 1 minute. And when that 1 minute will be over, the timer is going to beep. It does not have anything to do with the oven. It just tells me that the time is up. The second button out here, the one that is called cooking time, is actually connected to the oven. So if I use the cooking time feature, at the end of the time that I have set, the oven actually turns off. So once this beeps, I'll show you how to set the cooking time, and it is actually the same method as we had used for setting the kitchen timer, with the only difference being at the end of cooking time, the oven will actually turn off on its own, which in this case it will not. So as you can see, we have 7 seconds left now. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It should beep. So now it's telling me my timer is up. Okay. Now, once you have noted that, you should go back and clear this so that it doesn't keep on beeping. So I'm just going to turn it off now. It's just reminding me. Now, as you can see, the oven is still preheating, which means it's not at the temperature where we had originally set it. If we want to set something and we want the oven to turn off on its own, we can use the cooking time feature. So if I press cooking time here and I set the timer for, say, 1 minute, and then press start, the oven will turn itself off at the end of the cooking time. You do still need to take out the food because the oven will still be hot even though it's not on, and will continue to cook the food. So it does not mean you should let your food sit in there after the cooking time has passed. You should take it out. However, you don't have to turn the oven off. So the difference between these two is one is connected to the oven. Cooking time will turn the oven off, And kitchen timer is just like a regular timer that you could possibly even set on your watch or on the microwave timer. When you see a flashing light, as you see here, what does that mean? When you see a flashing light, as you see here right now, what does that mean?